So my talk this morning is entitled Happiest Place on Earth. Happiest Place on Earth. How many of you have never been to Disneyland? See? One person. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I was assuming, being we live so close, that everyone would have been there at least once. And when you Google Happiest Place on Earth, it's the only thing that comes up. The tagline for Disneyland, Anaheim, is Happiest Place on Earth. Not the Magic Kingdom, that's the one in Florida. Happiest Place on Earth is in Anaheim, according to Google. It's either the happiest place or it isn't the happiest place. But guess what? That isn't what I want to talk about. Because truly, if we can't bring the happiest place on earth to wherever we are, then we're not using our minds correctly. We're not using our thoughts correctly. And it is so simple. We are surrounded by a creative intelligence that's responding to us all the time. We're directing it all the time. And it's basically like a genie. And its wish is, our command is its wish. Whatever it is that you say you believe, whatever it is that you're passionate about, that thing is going to come to you. That thing is going to be expressed through you because that's the nature of life. That this, what we see, is a result of consciousness. It isn't the cause of consciousness. Our bodies, our minds, our relationships, our experiences is a result of our thinking. So that's a pretty simple explanation for this truth about the happiest place on earth. Where is it? It's right where you are. When is it? Whenever you say it is. Whenever you choose it to be, it is. Whenever you choose it to be, it is. I want to share with you a few things before I lose them of ideas about Disneyland. So a young kid was created her password for Disneyland, and her dad asked her why you created it. She created Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald. And she said, well, it said 4 characters. Password needed 4 characters, so there she is, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald. And the thing that you exercise the most when you are in Disneyland is your wallet. Yes. And the words you never hear are free, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For me, I've only been there twice. Once on my honeymoon when I was 22 years old, and drove all the way from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, through Vegas in the middle of summer, because I was a teacher, so I had to do Vegas. No air conditioning in our car because you don't need air conditioning in Canada. And it was quite a long time ago also. And then drove across the desert in the middle of the night. I was so surprised it was still boiling hot in the middle of the night. Anyway, to come visit some relatives and go to Disneyland. I was enchanted. I love Disneyland. It appeals to me. That whole idea of a theme park that takes those Disney characters, and by the way, I love Pixar movies. They're one of my favorites because they're so well formed, and so then you can go and experience those characters. They come to life. And all because a guy by the name of Walt Disney had an idea in 1953, and 2 years later, Disneyland was opened. He had an idea. He imagined a theme park, the very first one in the world. He imagined it. And then his staff became Imagineers, that their job was to imagine something greater, something better. Well, that's our job. Our job is to imagine something greater. And this week, the Prosperity Plus group, that's what you're doing. You're expanding your consciousness to see what dreams are coming in. What is it that you really want? What is it that is whispering to you? Come, my beloved, come true to yourself so that I can come into your experience. What dreams? And as Irene just sang, one of the great saboteurs of dreams is worry. In fact, worry, I just heard this, so I have to quote it the way I heard it. You can think of it as, we're always talking about the creative process of being like a triune. There's triune being. Well, this is a little bit of different triune. This triune starts with Bobby McFerrin, Jesus, and Abraham Hicks. So this triune being says, don't worry, be happy, right? Then it says, Jesus said, worry not, my little flock. Be as the lilies of the field, that neither toil nor spin. And then Abraham Hicks says, when you worry, you are using that power negatively for what you don't want. You're bringing into being what you do not want. And yet, so many of us were brought up to think it was right to worry. If we weren't good parents, we'd worry about our children. If we were good stewards, we'd worry about our money. The opposite is the truth. The opposite is the truth, that truly to live your dreams, you need to let go of that worry. So I spent some time between Friday night and last night in worry. And it's like, okay, am I just demonstrating my talk? I guess so. But here's what happened. Now, Andy, now is the time. I want to show you how to read our blog. So you, first of all, if you've never been on our website, go to Google or another search engine and type in Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley, or even CSLCV. Just the initials will do it. And then you get to this first page of our website. Who has never seen it before? Hands up. Come on, tell the truth. Okay. All right. Now see that top right-hand corner that is being circled, that B? That stands for blog. So when you click on the blog, you get all of these wonderful, wonderful pieces of writing that have been done by very many people, 11 different voices from our center. Why was she worrying? Well, I wrote a blog for Saturday. There it is right there. And it is called something I can't read from here, but it's basically about having a transformational experience, my first Asilomar, which was 25 years ago or so. I was trying to figure out exactly when it was. And why it's a vulnerable piece of writing. I tell you things that I wouldn't normally say. They were true things. They're not true today, but they were true 25 years ago. What was true for me and why I wrote this is, if any of you have not had the experience of a spiritual retreat like Asilomar, it is transformational. Your life can be transformed. I was on my spiritual path. I was studying, but you know, when you start to get these ideas, you get them first in your head. You understand them pretty well, but they hadn't made that long journey to the heart yet. And I was in a really messy relationship, and my heart was broken. I was left, and so I decided to go to Asilomar. I just read an ad. I'd never been there. I wasn't going with anyone. I went all by myself. And the universe supported the whole thing because I called. It was the week of. I called and they said, well, we're full. But just a minute, can you hold, please? This is how the universe works. Can you hold, please, they said. I said, sure. We have an opening. Do you mind sharing with 2 other women? I said, not at all. Those two women were experiencing the same issue as I was. The very same one, except they were still in it. And I got to see what their lives were like. I got to see the pain, the heartache, the catastrophic disease that they were creating for themselves, and I got to make a clear decision, not me. So read the blog, you can read the rest of it. But my point was, I was worried that you would judge me. I was worried that you would judge me because I haven't led a pure life. My very first boyfriend used to reassure me that I was pure as the driven snow, and I didn't really understand that he meant that wasn't pure at all. It's like, the driven snow isn't very pure. Yeah. Anyway, as soon as I realized, this worry is keeping my good from me, see how easy it is to slip in. And I learned from one of my very first teachers, Helen Street, if you can't hide it, paint it red. So in other words, show it off, tell the world. Let it all out so you're not trying to ever be hidden. Have you ever tried to keep a secret and everybody knows something's going on? And so what I'm saying is, go and read for yourself, see all the details. I'm happy to share with you, but the reason for sharing it wasn't because of the mess, it was because of the healing. Because of the healing, everything supported me, including, listen to this magic, perfect science of mind. I went to a practitioner the night before I was leaving Asilomar, and the practitioner prayed for me because I was worried I'd go back to the old habits when I got back in my environment. And she just saw me as God, which is what practitioners do. She saw the possibility. She had me so prayed up, I was prayed up. And so much so, I was lollygagging around Monterey with the other two women that were my roommates, and I missed my plane. But I was so prayed up, I just went to it was 25 years ago, and I'm dead old. I went to the ticket counter and I said, what can I do? And they said, problem at all. We can get you on a plane. You can connect in San Francisco tomorrow instead of tonight. Not a problem at all. They didn't charge me 1 cent. Have you ever heard that? It was my error. It wasn't their fault. I was at fault, but I was filled with God consciousness. I knew the universe was for me and not against me, and that this thing that loved me so much, this presence, was giving me my very best and highest good. And so it did. And so it continues. You can read the rest of the blog, but it is absolutely awesome. When we are truly connected with that source, we feel joy, we are joy, and our lives work. The happiest place on earth, just as I said, in my meditation is wherever you're standing when you're happy. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to Disneyland. You can if you love it. But you can have the happiest place right where you are right now. You can let joy just flow over from you and through you. I want to share with you a poem by one of our favorites, Rumi. And I didn't memorize it. It was a little bit long. He says this. He says, there is a community of the Spirit. Join it and feel the delight of walking in the noisy street and being the noise. Drink all your passion and be a disgrace. Close both eyes to see with the other eye. Open your hands if you want to be held. Sit down in the circle. Quit acting like a wolf and feel the shepherd's love filling you. At night, your beloved wanders. Don't accept condolences. Close your mouth against food. Taste the lover's mouth in yours. You moan, she left me, he left me. 20 more will come. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear thinking. Live in silence. Flow down and down in always widening rings of being. So Rumi was writing about the happiest place on earth, which is being one with that source of life. It can look however it looks. For some of you, it will look soft and quiet, like a flower opening. For others, it will be that noisy street. I saw when we were singing our first song of the morning, Tony and Kathy doing these actions. That's a way of being joyful for Tony. Kathy usually doesn't join her, and it was they're making love together. It's so nice to see this expression of all inclusivity and well-being. Whatever your way is the right way. And your way of your place, the happiest place on earth, is right where you are. So think about it for a moment now. Do you know what dreams are wanting to move through you? If you don't know, here's my greatest advice. Join our class. We've only had one so far. Join our class. It's not too late. Get silent. Listen. Your dreams are right for you, and they will come true when you're willing to let them be what they are. Right now. So this week, as you're celebrating the 4th of July, what a wonderful opportunity to practice this. To practice wherever you are, letting that place be the happiest place on earth. I love you, and so it is.